Hey friends, hey fam, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Samantha Marie, also known as SM Ryan the Writer. I'm a freelance editor for indie authors and a soon-to-be published author. This is the start of our first writing vlog. It's currently Wednesday, February 15th. It's about 5:30 in the evening, and I thought now would be a perfect time to start a weekend writing vlog. Full confession, I technically started this vlog on Sunday, but because vlogging is still new to me, obviously I'm kind of finding my rhythm with vlogs, and it was turning into a mishmash that I did not know how to salvage. So we're starting fresh today. I'm going to catch you up with where I am in my project right now and what I'm working on. Then we can jump into the rest of the vlog and what I actually have planned for this evening. Okay, so 2 videos ago I posted my 2023 goals, and I mentioned the writing projects that I'm going to be working on this year, and one of them being called the Publishing House series. So on Sunday, I actually started working on book 1 in the Publishing House series. What I initially thought was going to be a contemporary romance companion series has morphed into a vampire romance series. A vampire romance book. The important thing to know about the Publishing House series is it's actually just meant to be a companion series, and so they're not necessarily all following one storyline. They're not going to be books that you have to read in a specific order, and they're not going to be books where you have to read all 3 books to have the full story. They are just going to be 3 separate stories following 3 separate main characters, their journey, and they're all going to exist within the same world. The thing about all 3 of these characters existing in the same world is that this world is also very integral to Project Purple, which is a dark urban fantasy series that's going to be at least 3 to 4 books long. And I have already started planning the world, books 1 and 2 in that series. However, I want to be drafting something, but I'm not ready to draft that book yet. And so I wanted to do something that would be like a soft introduction to the world that I'm building, and it will also act as a way to help me work out the smaller kinks of things that I'm figuring out. And so that's what I've decided to do with the Publishing House series. Okay, so the Publishing House series is going to be a companion set that follows 3 best friends. Each of them are going to get their own story, but I'm calling it the Publishing House series, even though it's not exactly a perfectly accurate name for it, and it will not be something that's on book covers or anything, but I'm calling it that because all 3 of these main characters are meant to be working for is this a spoiler? Okay, so all 3 of the main characters that will be followed throughout this series all work in the same industry that is publishing adjacent, and that's all I'm going to say about that until I get this book written, and then I'll share more because I'll have more details and the name of the exact thing that they're occupying in this industry. Anyway, I have started planning book 1 for this series, and I'm really having fun with it. It's also helped me figure out a connecting point between the Publishing House series and Project Purple, because like I said, they both exist in the same overall supernatural world. And so there was something that was always missing for me with a character whose story I knew I wanted to tell, and I didn't really know what purpose this character served, but now I know. And I found it through outlining and brainstorming this series. So since Sunday, I have changed the working title twice. It has gone from a glowing review, where this was the cover image, and then I changed it to this title, which is, I believe, Bloodshed Hotel Review or something similar. I'll pop the covers here, and now we are on our final working title for right now, which is called the Bloodline Hotel. And I think the title will change again, but I'm not going to keep fussing with it right now. I like that thinking about the title, looking at the cover puts me in the right mood for the story, and it feels right for the story that is coming about as I'm mapping it out. And so I'm solid with that for right now. I will say I definitely consider myself a discovery writer. However, I know myself, and I know that I write best and work best if I have as much planned out ahead of time before I dive in. So I think I talked about this in my AuthorTube newbie tag video, but I really like the process of working out the details and writing down the details of everything that I know about my story so far. So for me, for this book, that includes my main character, my main love interest. Their character templates have been fleshing out really great, and I have the major plot points for Act 1 and Act 2, as well as some major points for their romance arc. laid out. Now, everything is not in a perfect scene by scene order. However, I know what needs to happen. I know my character's emotional arcs that I want them to be taking throughout the entire story, and I'm allowing myself to tweak that as more of their backstory and more of the plot kind of comes to me. So that's where we're at with that. Yesterday was the day that I figured out, yesterday was the day that I figured out what I needed for that connecting character that I spoke about. I don't think her name is going to change. So her name is Dominique, and I really love her. I love the character that's come to me with her, and I love what I have discovered about her character through this story and the purpose that she serves right now. Okay, I can say that. So I do like that I know where Dominique stands right now and where she's headed, and so I get to play with some of where she is and what she's growing from and where she's coming from in this book. And then when she has her own book later on down the line, I'll really be able to expand on that. And then that connecting bit serves as the, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that she serves as a connecting piece to another series. And so her individual book will then allow everything to make sense that's going to come after that. I don't know. I think that was a spoiler. I hope not. So that's where we are with the project. I'm thinking about diving in tonight for a couple of hours. I kind of want to make some more progress in terms of the plot point and exactly what needs to happen in Act 1 and at least the baselines for Act 2. And a couple of the little details for Act 3 would make me feel good before I dive into drafting. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident once that I have Act 1 nailed down and I know what Act 2 needs to be, I can go ahead and start drafting. But I will say that with my editing workload and the interests that are coming in for my services, I'm giving myself a deadline for the outlining process of February 28th, and then I would like to start drafting March 1st. Yeah, that's my plan for right now. I am using my word count tracker, of course, that I shared with you guys in my last Notion video, and so I'm aiming for 10K, but it's not a hard and fast rule. Once I feel good about what I have, what I know, I trust myself to figure it out along the way. I trust the process. So yeah, I feel good about where I am, and I feel like as long as I have Act 1 laid all the way out and know for sure what's going to happen in Act 2 and what it's leading to within Act 3, I'll be able to start drafting. But if I can't start drafting until March 1st, then that's okay, because I don't want to burn out between my project and my editing workload, and I also don't want to get to a space where I feel like I can't manage spending time on both projects a little bit every day, which is what I've been doing this week. I've really been leaning on my resources a lot more lately when it comes to planning out my books, because I feel like it takes a lot less mental energy because there's nothing for me to think around. If I'm feeling stuck in the outlining process, if I'm feeling stuck in the brainstorming process, I just pick up a crafts book, whichever one is relevant to where I'm brainstorming, and I'm jumping to pages for inspiration, which really helps me figure out my character's emotional arc when it comes to where I want them to start versus where I want them to end and what that middle ground has to look like to get there. I especially loved leaning on them when it came to fleshing out the personality for my main love interest for this book. I don't know if I'm going to share the character names yet, because while I feel like the character names won't change, I'm not 100% sure on that. I am someone who tends to change my characters' names even a little bit down the line. But if by the end of this vlog the characters' names have not changed, I will share them with you. But I really enjoyed leaning on my resources to come up with his personality traits in fitting him, crafting the right personality to fit with hers in a way that allows them to match, that is realistic, that also gives them a little bit of strain where they are likely to bump heads on certain things because of how they both view the world, and where that give and take really comes for the romance. Because while this is going to be a kind of vampire romance, it's also very much feeling like a story where it's just going to be my main character kind of coming into her own after a major change and refiguring out her life. And so that is really important to me to get across in the story, because that's just where the story feels like it's going. But I know there's a romance in there. I just don't know how prominent it is or should be for her story and where this book is going. I don't know if that made sense because I'm really trying not to give away any spoilers or say exactly what I'm doing or how I'm doing it. So hopefully I wasn't confusing. It is a vampire romance. However, whether or not I will be categorizing it as a romance once it's all said and done, I don't yet know. So we'll see. So yeah, I've been talking for about 15 minutes. And I don't want this intro clip to be too long, but as it stands, our outline for the Bloodline Hotel is currently at 3,435. And so I'm going to dive in to spend a couple more hours working out the plot, and we'll see how things go. friends. It is February 18th. It's about to be 1 o'clock, and I wanted to pop in and give a proper check-in and update about how progress has been going with the Bloodline Hotel before I stepped away for lunch. So the last 2 days morphed into primarily work-heavy days, and I mean work-heavy in a positive way. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the project that I was working on this month, and will be continuing work on. I'm very excited about the project that I'm going to be starting in a couple of weeks with a new client, and so I spent the last 2 days just focusing on taking care of all of that and getting some admin work done, and just wrapping up the first part of this project and making sure I got it back to my client on time and with the quality of work that I am proud to deliver. And so we did that, and even though I didn't spend time sitting down actively working on the Bloodline Hotel outline, I did spend, of course, time thinking about my story. And so what I did have over those 2 days working on my project was a slight breakthrough in terms of figuring out the motivation for another character that is within Project Purple, who is going to make a small appearance in this story as well. And so kind of while thinking about what I want my vampires to be, how I want them to be viewed in the world, and the ins and outs of kind of how they're created, where that comes from, and things like that, I did manage to work out the motivation and some character backstory for the love interest in one of the books in Project Purple. So I enjoyed that, and so we made a little bit of progress there. I spent the morning watching Shay from Shay with the Hobbies live stream that she does every Saturday at I want to say it's 10 a.m. because I'm pretty sure it's 10 a.m. my time Eastern, but I think she's on Central Time. Don't quote me, just follow her. I have her channel linked down below in the description, so go ahead and give her a follow. But during her stream, I did get a couple words in. I did get to read through my kind of summary and like blurb draft of the story, and I really like where it's going. I even hammered out a couple of small details for my main male character for that story, and I feel really good about it. I feel good about the progress that we've made. I feel good about the things that I'm developing in terms of the world building, the characters that I want to play with in the world right now. And so our goal for this afternoon is just going to be to really focus in on getting that plot nailed down and laying out all of those ideas and organizing the ideas that I have laid out already. Also, secondary kind of update. The bookshop part of my website seems to not be doing what it's supposed to do, and I realized that earlier this morning, checking the back end of my website, and realized that someone had to place an order twice, and I think that means that the links are not going out the way that they're supposed to. I have tested the link for myself, and I still have not received the download link that is supposed to be automatically generated. So while I'm taking care of that, I am going to be shutting down and kind of just hiding access to the bookshop so that this doesn't happen to any new customers that come in until I can get it fixed. In the meantime, if you have placed an order with the bookshop and have not received a link for your digital downloads, do let me know in a DM on either Instagram or Twitter so that I can go in and send you those links personally. But I'm currently working on figuring out A, what's going on, and B, if I can't figure it out, I will be on the phone and finding a way to get in touch with somebody's customer service to correct the problem, because yeah, I'm just not a fan. So I am working on getting that done and taken care of. Also in the background, we're gonna have some lunch. We're going to upload this footage in this clip here. We're going to start editing this vlog, have lunch, and then get back to working on Bloodline Hotel. I really am excited to just get this stuff out, keep brainstorming, and get to the drafting part, because I have a couple of scenes in mind that I really want to get out, but if I just dive in now, I risk getting stuck, and I don't want to do that. So lunch, work on Bloodline Hotel, figure out what's going on with our website, and get our online digital store back to where it's supposed to be. So I'll check in with you later.